what's good, Commanders fans? This probably will be a quick video. I say this every time, but I do have some stuff to do today. I just wanted to go over the Trey Amos article that came out from Jeremy Fowler, talking about the situation on potentially why he dropped in the second round. I know a lot of people had him going in the first round. A couple of mock drafts, or a good amount of mock drafts, had him going in the first round. A good amount of draft analysts from national media pundits had Trey Amos going in the first round. And a lot of people said that he was the biggest steal in the draft. And this probably is the reason why he did drop to the second round, of concerns about his health. But of course, I do have to talk about George Pickens. I do have to talk about the Dallas Cowboys and what they did, because we play them twice a year. I do feel like we're going to play them on Thanksgiving. We know what the Cowboys do every year. With Dak Prescott, they always lose in the first round. They haven't made it to an NFC championship in, like, what was it, like 25, 30 years, basically like us. But now we have made it. And Tressway has more passing yards in the NFC championship than Dak Prescott. Jaden Daniels has already surpassed Dak Prescott in making it to an NFC championship in his rookie season. In one season, he's already surpassed Dak already, which is just hilarious and just awesome to see on our part, for sure, being Commanders fans. But no, this is a good trade for them. Like, I know they gave up a third-round pick in 2027, not this year, not the 2026 pick, but the 2027 pick. And then they did a pick swap. So they really didn't give up much for George Pickens, in my opinion. And this probably is what his value is. He's got 1 year left on his deal, this year coming up, and he is going to enter free agency after this season, and he is a crash out. We saw when he got drafted, he was in the ski mask. Nothing wrong with wearing a ski mask, but, you know, when you are getting drafted, typically you just put on the hat, or you're wearing like a polo or a nice t-shirt, whatever. You know, typically that's what people wear during the draft. But he's George Pickens, so he does what he wants to do, and that's part of the reason why he's a crash out. You saw the way he tackled Mikey Sainristil after Russell Wilson threw an interception. He grabbed Ben St. Juste's face mask for like a good 5 seconds. They didn't even call it. Him getting into a fight with Jordan Lewis, going back and forth and whatnot last year. His sideline antics, his pregame or postgame interview antics. Mike Tomlin always have to reel him in. He's just a typical Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver. Deontay Johnson, Antonio Brown, Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster. For whatever reason, Steelers receivers, they have screws loose for sure, and he definitely fits that bill. Him and CD they're gonna be a problem. As long as George Pickens is getting the football, he should get 1,000 yards receiving. That's just plain simple. But does that always amount to winning playoff games? It certainly didn't happen with the Steelers. And I don't really think it's going to make them win more playoff games than Dallas. Now, are they going to win 10 games in a season? Probably, if everybody stays healthy. That's just what Dallas does. I think there's a potential for the NFC East to have 3 legitimate playoff teams. Us, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. And then the Giants, probably around 6-11, 7-10 or something like that. They do have good players like Abdul Carter, Thibodeau, and Malik Neighbors. But you look at the wide receiver duos, just the wide receivers in the NFC East, man. Like, we have some really, really good receivers. Terry, Debo, AJ, Devontae, CD, George Pickens, Malik Neighbors. You even want to throw in Wan'Dale Robinson. He's a darn good receiver, or a darn good number 3, number 2 receiving option. Like, there's some guys in the NFC East, man. We got better. Everybody got better in the NFC East. So, I mean, we'll see how this works out. But no, they got another weapon, man. They tried to make it work with Jalen Tolbert. It didn't work out. They tried to trade for other guys like Jonathan Mingo, 4th-round pick. That was a terrible trade. That was like the worst trade of the whole NFL off season, or during the season. I think that was like the worst trade in the trade deadline by any team. Like, that was the worst trade that anybody made by far. Like, trading a 4th-round pick for a 2nd round. I hate to call him a bust, but a guy who hasn't done much in his career in the 2nd round, who probably could have got traded for like a 6th or 7th round pick, to be honest. So, no, that's a good trade for the Cowboys, man. That's a good trade for them. Like, they got better offensively. They've been trying to find a number 2 next to CeeDee Lamb, and, you know, people were complaining that they had no other option other than CeeDee, and they were trying to force it to Jalen Tolbert, and Kevontae Turpin is really more of a punt returner, kick returner kind of guy. He's not like a complete number 2, which is true. Brandon Cooks just didn't work out. You know, he's getting older. So they tried to draft Ted McMillan, but he didn't fall to number 12. So they drafted a guard, and they didn't get anybody really in the draft at the wide receiver position. So we do have Trey Amos. Marshawn Lattimore going up against George Pickens. That's going to be a sight to see, man. They're going to be duking it out. somebody's going to get ejected. In one of the two games, somebody's getting ejected. Like, that's just going to happen because Marshawn's not taking that, man. Like, if you're trying to tackle and wrestle WWE, WWF, suplex somebody after an interception that Dak throws, or trying to block in a run game, and you just try to throw Marshawn. Marshawn's not going. He's not scared to get thrown out of a game. Like, we've seen that before with him and Mike Evans, and just in general with him and AJ Brown as well. So there's going to be some punches thrown. Like, Marshawn's not going for that. That's one thing I will say about Marshawn so far in his Commanders' tenure, is he doesn't take any mess for sure. He's been giving up some yards. Hamstring's not fully healthy. I get it. But that's one thing that's definitely going to be a sight to see for sure. So this probably will be a 1-year rental with George Pickens, I would think. But we'll see. I mean, they're not going to extend him, which I think, if you really, really buy into having George Pickens, and there's going to be times where the camera pans to CD pouting, to George Pickens pouting on the sideline because they're not getting the football, yelling at Dak, being upset at Dak and complaining, somebody's family member on Twitter complaining about not getting enough touches and getting catches and touchdowns and all kinds of, like, when things go wrong, they really, really, really do go wrong in Dallas. And even before Dak got hurt, like, he was on the sideline saying we freaking suck. That was against the Falcons, a team that didn't even make the playoffs when they were getting blown out before he hurt his hamstring. So there definitely is gonna be a lot of frustration. And it's gonna be fun to watch their meltdown in December, and because they're gonna be really good in like September, October, November. They're gonna be really good in those months. But when it gets cold outside and they have to play legitimate teams, and we have a tough schedule anyway. The whole NFC East has a tough schedule, with the AFC West being on our schedule. When the tough gets going, it's going to be funny to see the crash out of George Pickens, the crash out of CeeDee Lamb, the crash out of Micah Parsons, and all those guys, all those personalities on that team just crashing out and self-destructing with George Pickens on that team. So it's going to be fun to watch that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch that happen because they're going to melt down. Like I said, they're going to win 10 games, but they're going to melt down. Like, what can go wrong will go wrong with the Cowboys. It doesn't matter if you have George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Terrell Owens out there. It doesn't matter what receiver they have. Dez Bryant. It doesn't matter how good their receivers are. You know what's going to happen in Dallas. You know how it's going to end with the Dallas Cowboys. You just know it's going to end that way for sure. You know it's going to end that way. So, but like I said, I think it's a good trade. Once again, I say that again. This is a good trade because it makes Dak better. Their run game is still lackluster in my opinion. Like the guys that they got, Javonte Williams is not bad. He had a couple good years with the Broncos. Miles Sanders is past his time, really past his prime, in my opinion. I think he's a good player, but he's past his prime. Who else they got? They got Jaden. They drafted Jaden Blue, who's a good player. They traded for Kenneth Murray, who's a solid player. Trayvon Diggs most likely will not be playing for a majority of the 2025 season. They still have Deron Bland. They still have Michael Parsons. They drafted Donovan E., who's a good player. I hate to just talk so much about the Cowboys, but they're an opponent we have to play twice a year. It's still technically a rivalry. Even though nobody really says it anymore, it still is. The NFL considers it a rivalry. That's why we play them usually on Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football or Thanksgiving all the time. That's why I still call it somewhat of a rivalry. Last year we played both games at 1:00. They didn't flex that last game. We played both games at 1:00. We played 1:00 at home where we lost, then we beat them on the road at 1:00. But typically we usually play them on Thanksgiving, or at least, like I said, Sunday Night Football, Thursday night. Some type of national TV game. We usually play them primetime type of game each season, at least once or twice. But yeah, this is a solid trade for the Cowboys, and we'll see, man. We'll see. Like I said, I think their ceiling once again is 10, 11 wins, which is not bad. But yeah, there's gonna be some crash out moments for sure. And Mike Tomlin went through it with these guys. With George Pickens. And there's got to be a reason why they gave up on him. There's got to be a reason why they gave up on him, man, because if you're really that good, they would have kept you. They brought in DK Metcalf, the Steelers. I'm talking about the Steelers now. And when they trade Steelers receivers, it usually doesn't work out for the Steelers receiver. They may have one good year after, like Juju Smith-Schuster, they gave up on him. They moved on from him. He had like 1 or 2 good years. But after that, it's like their career just goes away. Chase Claypool, like I said, Antonio Brown had a couple good years with Tom Brady, and then his career went off because of the CTE. Deontay Johnson, his career's on life support right now. Trying to think who else was a good Steelers receiver that was a crash out, or that is a crash out, and their career's on life support right now. But yeah, those are the guys that I can think of. Like when the Steelers are ready to move on from you and you still like are productive in the league, there's definitely some red flags. There's definitely some red flags there for sure. All right, so let's talk about Trey Amos here. So Jeremy Fowler came up with an article saying that Trey Amos had a back injury that probably caused him to slide a bit, according to an AFC executive. And to me, that doesn't really give me much concerns. We did draft Jonathan Allen years ago, and he had a health concern. Montez Sweat dropped because of a health concern. He's no longer here, but Montez Sweat had a couple solid seasons. Say what you want to say about him, but he had some productive seasons. I don't think he was a bust or anything like that. He had a solid season with the Bears 1 year too, and then I think guys have health concerns and they end up having strong careers or pretty good careers. So we took a risk with Johnny Newton last year with the foot surgery, and then the other foot was hurt, so he dropped. He was considered to be a steal. It's still to be determined if he really is a steal. He's got to still prove it. But yeah, so the article says Washington got a plus starter with second-round defensive back Trey Amos, who has size, speed, and instincts. Selecting him at number 61 was considered great value. One aspect that might have hurt his value slightly, multiple teams discovered a back injury in the pre-draft process. This wasn't a major red flag for some teams, but it was at least a mild concern that probably caused him a bit to slide a bit. As one AFC executive said, however, people around Amos and the Commanders did not seem overly concerned by it. Now, he should be participating tomorrow in rookie minicamp. Like Johnny Newton couldn't even participate in rookie minicamp. He couldn't do rookie minicamp. I don't think he participated in anything off season wise until training camp. Now, I don't think that's the case with Trey Amos. And you look at the other cornerbacks in the draft, like Shavon Revel had an ACL tear. Ben Morrison was hurt for the majority of the season. Like a lot of other corners were hurt. And that's why some other guys dropped too. Like Maxwell Harrison was banged up throughout the season. So a lot of the guys in this class anyway, the cornerback room class, was just banged up. But I'm happy we got Trey Amos. We got a guy that can match up with George Pickens. We got a guy that can match up potentially with AJ Brown. I know Jalen Ramsey's still out there, and there is interest there per sources that the Commanders are interested in Jalen Ramsey, but I don't see that happening. But it's just something to keep an eye on. I can't wait to see how Trey Amos does tomorrow in rookie minicamp. I think he is supposed to participate, so I can't wait to hear how he does and some other rookies. So that's about it for Trey Amos. And then as far as the helmet, I'll talk about that excuse me, a little bit. This is per Jake Russell. He also had an article that came out about the alternate helmet that's supposed to come out. So I'm going to read that really quick. Where is it at? He came up with the article yesterday. He says, quote, the Commanders have worn black alternate helmets alongside their black alternate uniforms. We expect they'll adjust the decals to match their standard burgundy helmets rather than add a new gold helmet or any other color shell. So what he said is I'm not going to say confusing, but it doesn't really give much to go off. They didn't give any visuals in the article. He did say the Browns, Chargers, and Saints are supposed to have alternate helmets as well or make tweaks to their helmets. So we'll see. I'll just show a quick picture here of really the Marriott Hotel picture of a helmet that people were saying, oh, this is going to be the change in the helmet. So I don't know if you guys saw that Marriott commercial. It's really just like a different color, yellow or burgundy to the face mask or whatever. But as far as like the helmets and stuff, like somebody made because we have the numbers on the side of our black helmets. So maybe they'll just put the W on the side and somebody made a visual of that. Their name is Gonzo on Twitter. So Gonzo did this on Twitter. So that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Like I said, I mean, we'll see how that looks. I like the look of that. That is pretty cool, just having the W on the side. So we'll see if that is actually what they do. So they're going to announce that in July, the alternate helmet change or whatever they're going to do. So some changes that are coming up this year for sure. So we'll see how that goes. You guys let me know what you guys think. As always, I will definitely be back here tomorrow talking about rookie minicamp and reacting to that. I really want to see Keegan Jones from UCLA. I really want to see Gabe Taylor, of course, how he does if he gets an interception or a pass deflection. Colin Schlee, Cam Arnold, I'm basically naming everybody. Jacoby Brooks, Jacoby Jones, Carlin Vigors, people have been hyping him up. Trey Rucker, and then the other safety from HBCU. Robert McDaniel is his name. Those are the guys that I'm really looking at. And then obviously the guys that we drafted, Jalen Lane and Madrano, Connerly, Amos already talked about. JCM, how does he look? It's tough. Running backs in these type of situations is not really much you can go off of. But I guess just the speed and the athleticism. But I do want to see how Ja'Cory Brooks does. Like I think he's probably, other than like our first and second round pick, like he's probably gonna be, him and Gabe Taylor are probably like the two names that are gonna get the most popularity out of this. They probably have really the most to gain. Gabe Taylor, Keegan Jones, and Ja'Cory Brooks. They probably have the most to gain from rookie minicamp, in my opinion. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. What are you guys looking forward to in rookie minicamp? Health Commanders. Peace.